I've started recording the third review session. I've asked my students to turn off their cameras and to ask all of their questions in the chat. This allows me to record this and share it with other students who couldn't come tonight. For everybody who's been absent in the first review, we did these things, and that's posted on Neo. And in the second review, we talked about how to improve your notes, how to gather all of your materials and get ready to make them more useful for studying on the AP exam. Today, I want to continue to go through the calendar of recommended activities to get you ready for the exam. And then I want to show you some new resources, some exciting new stuff that just came out today. I see a private message from a student. Perhaps, come to think of it, it may not be necessary anymore. Thank you for asking. Maybe you could check in with me again at school. Thanks for offering. Okay. Check out what's on your screen now. You've already hopefully been fixing up your notes. I asked you a week ago to gather all of your content and to spend the last 7 days going through your study guides to fill in any gaps in your notes, going to the College Board's course description and seeing if anything that I didn't teach you, if you can add that content to your notes. I recommended that you search for current events and recent environmental news because that stuff is often used to write your AP exam in the spring, in a couple of weeks. Wow. And I told you to search the web, see if you can find other teachers or stuff on YouTube or whatever. Now, I have some more specific guidance for you. I need to switch the screen that I'm sharing, excuse me. This would have been easier if I could use the original browser, but I want to show you something else. I believe I have switched my screen share. We'll do this one, excuse me. Okay. Oh, actually, I just thought of something. Okay. This is what you all see when you join my Neo review section. There's the previous video, the first video, the second video. There's a bunch of links to resources that I've assembled for you to use. And then there's this calendar. You've hopefully done this part, the part where you improve your original content, your first draft of your notes. If you haven't done that, that's probably the most important thing for you to do starting now. If you just now realized that you want to review or you just had the time availability, you should still start with that step. But for everybody who's already done that, I wanted to show you these descriptions. This would be for yesterday, today, and tomorrow if you were following the calendar. The College Board is gonna ask you some really trivial stuff. They'll say, why was this city important? Why was this person important? And there's no way for me to prepare you. I don't know all the important cities or all the important people. It's an endless list. The College Board will ask you extremely persnickety detailed questions. A lot of times you can still figure out the right answer from context, or it'll ask you a question about a person, but the answer is still about content you've already studied. But over the years, I've noticed there's all these little persnickety kind of low blow trivia questions. So I would recommend to you that you spend a couple of days doing those 1, 2, 3 that are highlighted on your shared screen now. Those are ways to prepare for some of the trivia. For example, one of the classics is they'll show you a map without labels, and they throw letters on there. Like they might throw a letter A in Iowa and a letter B in the Amazon rainforest and a letter C in the Sahara Desert, for example. And then they'll give you some choices like which of these is a desert. Or they might ask you, which of the following had a tremendous nuclear disaster? And the choices would be 4 places that aren't relevant and also Chernobyl, Ukraine. The point is that they're likely to ask you some low blow trivia questions. And while we still have 2 weeks until the exam, right around now, I'd recommend you beef up your trivia. Build an environmental atlas, grab yourself any crappy old map, and place all of the things in our text or in our course onto that map. Likewise, you can do a quick little Google, or you can check the phone. Sorry, you can check the study guide. You can check your textbook and see if you can find important people in environmental science, and also check all of your case studies. At the beginning of each chapter, there's a story that's usually about a person or about a place. It'll talk about struggles to find fresh water between Los Angeles and Mono Lake, for example. And I'd like you to add all of those into your notes as 3 separate little tidbits. They're numbers 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to change what I'm sharing briefly. Excuse me, this will be the last delay. I've thought of another way to do this now. I got a message about if I have a list of important people. I don't. I think that we used to show more movies in the course. And so I think students used to gather more of them from the movies, the after school films, and some of the ones that I would show in many of the units, but I've been cutting out the films. I could, of course, lend you the films, but it's probably faster to look for important people. Rachel Carson has been on the AP exam. She's the woman who wrote Silent Spring about biomagnification of agricultural pesticides. David Brower, I believe, has appeared on the exam. He's the guy who started, or like the first famous person to lead the Sierra Club. He was a big conservationist, did a lot of stuff for environmental law. I don't know how many of them are absolutely critical. Just the process of looking for them will start to make little connections in your brain. That's still good. After you've built up the trivia, because the College Board will ask you some trivia stuff, I want you to spend about 4 days taking as many multiple choice exams as you can possibly find. Any that other review guides have for you, any that you can get off the internet, or practice multiple choice exams from my review content. Let me see if I can switch better now. Yeah, so in my review content, you can see that I have multiple choice exams here. There's the multiple choice tests. You could do those 3. And I just did something else. I've assigned to all of you, I've assigned to all of you 5 different multiple choice exams, kind of loosely by topic. I've assigned you 5 multiple choice exams in AP Classroom. New student who's just joined. Hi, new student, please don't turn on your camera. New student, don't turn on your camera. We're recording this, so I don't want your voice or your face to show. That way I can share this with other students that aren't here. So new student, you should have access to the chat if you need to ask me anything. But to that new student who just don't turn on the camera, don't turn on your mic, please, because of the recording. Okay, so I've assigned you a whole bunch of multiple choice exams in AP Classroom. You should be able to find in your AP Classroom my assignments. There's also the ones here in Neo that you could use. A student asked me, is there a way to share the multiple choice with those who aren't in my class? I could assign them to Elena Khan's classes as well, but I need her permission to do that. So maybe to the student who asked me that question, if you could please text message her and me so that we're all in the same message and just say, hey, Ms. Khan, is it okay if Jose assigns us some practice multiple choice? If she says it's okay, I'll assign it to all of her classes as well. I just want to run that by her first. You can send me a private message if you heard what I just said. I guess it's called a direct message, excuse me. Very good. All right. I've assigned multiple choice to you. You have multiple choice here on Neo. You might find them elsewhere. Point being, in the second half of this week, I want you to take as many multiple choice exams as you can find. I don't give any credibility to your scores. It's irrelevant, confusing, distracting, and misleading. For one thing, you might score abnormally high because maybe I or Ms. Khan have reused some of the questions from that exam. So you'll think you're an A student, but that's because you've already seen 40 of the questions. Or you might score very, very low. Maybe you haven't studied very much. Right now, it's not about your scores. If you get a 95%, you're going to feel like a hero and you don't need to study, and that's misleading. And if you get a 22%, you'll feel like, oh, it's all over, screw this, I'm going to drop out. And you shouldn't either. The reason I want you to take multiple choice tests is not because the score matters at all as a predictor for how you're going to do in 2 weeks. The reason I want you to do a multiple choice test is so that you can find stuff that you don't know, go back to your notes and add that in. If there's a word in a question about water that you haven't heard before, then just look it up, add it to your notes in the water unit. If there's a question about biodiversity or the island effect or whatever that you didn't know about, you take those things and you add them into your notes. The answers are not even relevant. The scores are extremely irrelevant and definitely misleading. But I do want you to just find the stuff you didn't know and keep improving your notes. So first half of this week, do some of that trivia stuff. Second half of this week, do the multiple choice stuff. And then next weekend, if you're doing this daily on my program, I want you to have one day which is just chemistry. In my review packet, I'll try to put this on the shared screen. There's this thing right here, the main review packet. If you're not in my course, perhaps one of the students in my course can share this content with you. You can come by the room. It's a PDF. I'm sure I could give you access to it. But in my review packet, there's a 2-page section on all the chemistry in APES. It has all the atmosphere reactions, which some of you haven't seen yet because we're just getting to that unit in APES. It has all of the nuclear energy reactions. It has like a little primer on how pH works, which I think might be new to some of you. It has like water stuff, all the chemistry that you need for the entire class is in that review section in my main review packet. And that's what I'd like you to go over maybe next Sunday. It's all chemistry all day. And if you have other sources for chemistry, great. No holds barred. I'd like you to go to all possible sources, find any chemistry, and then again, check your notes. Did you already have that smog reaction? If it's new, add it into your notes. And do you know the nitrogen cycle terms? And if not, go back to unit number 2 and check that you add in the nitrogen cycle terms. You've got a couple of days of trivia, a bunch of days for multiple choice just to find new information, and then one day to do nothing but chemistry. And you'll notice all of this keeps tying back to those notes. The more you traffic those notes, the more your brain traffics that content. Finding information in your brain is really, really difficult. It's like a meadow where the grass is growing. And so as you walk through the meadow, you set a trail to a beautiful outlook or to a cool little creek or to a nice tree. But of course, as time passes, that grass will grow and you can't find the trail anymore. So the more you keep walking those same trails, the more clearly they become established in that meadow. And likewise, the more you go through the content in your notes, the more clearly your brain will be able to find that information. So always use your notes, keep adding to your notes. A week from today, you'll be almost done with the notes. A week from today, we're going to make a little shift. A week from today, we're going to do one last very specific addition to your notes, but a week from today, we're going to start talking about skills. The how-to AP exam stuff. A week from today, we're going to start talking about how to do the free response questions. We're going to start talking about how to do the experimental design. We're going to practice just the math. This is all skills. A week from today, we're not really doing knowledge anymore. A week from today, we're just kind of getting better at executing. We'll talk about a week from today when we are a week from today. But for this week, here's your calendar. If you're not in my course and you don't have access to Neo, you should make a screenshot now. A student who asked that question, you're asking where to find things in Neo, if I understand correctly. In Neo, I think you can see this on, okay, I think you can see this on your shared screen. Here in Neo on the shared screen, you can see unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then there's review materials. All review materials and plan is that page that I was giving you a tour of earlier. So here's all the resources. They have links to everything. And here's a calendar. And I go over this in greater detail during the first review video. It's here. This is the one from 2 weeks ago. Here's the second video from last week. So I'm going to keep going with this third video. Okay. Now, check this out. Are we doing most of this stuff naturally? Okay, somebody asked me, are we doing most of this stuff naturally in class? I know you said so in the first session, but I don't know. I'm still a little spooked. You should be spooked. Yeah, it's a big exam and it's not easy. The flip side is you have already been practicing skills and you've already been exposed to content. And I hate to give you false confidence, but honestly, about 50% of the exam would be a passing grade. The students who get a 3 average about 53 to 55 out of 100 on, 53 to 55% on the multiple choice. And the students who get a 3 average about 2.5 to 4 out of 10 on each of the free response questions. So all things considered, I've taught you enough. You've gotten enough practice in the class to have a fair shot. This whole review is for somebody who really wants to pass this test. So I want it to feel easy for you. I want you to show up at the test and be like, no, I definitely crushed that. So that's why I made the review for you. That's why we're doing these sessions. And that's why I've built this schedule for you. You're just raising the odds. If you've been doing well enough, and I know who asked this question, you're doing fine. I think that you have a fair chance of passing. Now let's see how much better you can do. Okay, I want you guys to check this out. Don't let me forget, I got to put these links into the chat. But before I do that, I want to show you what's here. The first one you'll notice is a College Board link. Check this out. I didn't know this. Maybe your other teachers knew and they've already told you, but starting today, the College Board is doing live reviews on YouTube for the next week and then the week after, Monday to Thursday, topic by topic, every AP exam. I didn't know. I just found out. And check it out. I'll give you the link in a minute, but here's some dude who I don't know. I know a lot of the people at the College Board. I don't know this guy. This guy has like this stuff about like how to do well on the AP exam. He's got all these like little notes on here. A lot of it is just strategies that I was going to share with you. But anyway, it's like a 46-minute video on YouTube. And I guess there's a new one coming out every Monday to Thursday at 5 p.m. this week and next week. So you can see the dates. You can see the time. Environmental science is between 5 and 5:45. And I'll give you the links right now. Give me a moment. I'm going to put these into the chat. For everybody who wants it, I can also email you this or whatever. Oh, man, I'm a mess. It looks like I can't copy from here. I can still get you these links. Thumbs up if that's visible in the chat. Cool. So that's the PDF that you see on the screen now. In case you want to know for other courses or if you want to share with other people, you could also take a screenshot, but I'm about to change that screen. And here's another one. This is the YouTube video that just came out today. I assume you can navigate YouTube better than I can to find tomorrow's content. But I don't know, I thought that was kind of exciting. They promised that they'll have content reviews. Today was all strategy for multiple choice. It's all strategy that we already have in the course. I've already explained most of this to you, and if not, it's on our calendar, so no worries. But maybe it's cool. Maybe he'll have some stuff that I didn't know about. And then they've got content review coming up in the next few days. If you hear anything you didn't know, add it to your notes. That way you keep walking through that same meadow so that your brain can find the info later. Maybe next week we'll find out it was a total waste of time, but maybe next week we'll find out they're crucial. Anyway, you've got the PDF of what's on the schedule. You've got the link for YouTube. And remember that I've assigned to you a bunch of multiple choice tests for you to practice in AP Classroom. I believe on AP Classroom, they grade themselves, I think. Students who are in Miss Khan's class, I know that she has AP Classroom content for you that's optional, the progress checks. Do those grade themselves? Miss Khan students don't know if the progress report exams grade themselves. I think they do. Okay. This was all that I had today. These links and these instructions for this week. I'm sorry about my sluggish technology. We were able to look at the YouTube selection, this file. I reviewed with you again what's on my Neo page. Yeah, okay. What do you all want to ask me? What can I tell you? What's important for you to know that you don't know already? Please use the chat so that I don't have to throw away the recording. A student that I didn't know, can I assume that you're from Miss Khan's class? You added late. You want to tell me in the chat? I'm supposed to be monitoring who's here. Okay, great, thanks. And a student that I do know but I haven't seen before, you were curious if you'd be able to use this content since you didn't show up for the first ones. Do you know now, the student who was nervous about joining now, do you know now how to find the previous videos? That student is not responding in the chat, but okay. I am here if you have questions. Okay, yes, you. Okay, good. All right. I don't know, I'm done. I don't know. Does anybody want to ask me something? You don't ask me nothing, then I'm just going to wait for all of you to leave. See you here same time next week. We'll have a little bit more plans for you to study. And then in 2 weeks, it'll be the night before the exam, and we'll all be barfing. You're very welcome. Okay, bye. Okay, you're welcome. Bye. Bye, children. Yeah. Okay, you're welcome.